Bienvenidos a Educación Física. No, I'm not teaching this lesson in Spanish today. But welcome. It's Thursday, April 30th, and welcome to PE. So here's what's on deck for today. We're going to review the overload principle that we talked about on Tuesday. Introduce a new principle called the SAID principle. We'll look at headspace. There's a conditioning piece. After the conditioning piece, there is a 31-day challenge that we will begin tomorrow. And there's also, of course, an assessment. So let's take a look. Review progressive overload. A reminder that progressive overload is more than you've done in the past. Okay, it doesn't have to be a lot. It could just be 1 pound more, 1 push-up, 1 rep more, 1 push-up more, 1 minute more. Okay, so it's a challenge that you're challenging the body to improve just slightly over what you've done in the past. Okay, this works for plenty of things, not just fitness. So if you want to be a better writer, okay, write for 5 minutes every day, add a little bit each time. Okay, if you want to be a better baseball player, practice your throwing every day for a little bit more and more and more. Along with the progressive overload, we want to look at what we call the minimum effective dose. So what's the smallest amount of work necessary to produce the desired outcome? Okay, if you want to be like Kobe Bryant or LeBron James, right? How much work do you need to put in on a daily basis to improve each day without doing too much, where you can't come back the next day and continue your practice, right? So if we look at Milo of Croton, the guy that was lifting the baby cow, right? He grew extremely strong over time with small increases every day. So however much that cow grew in the 24 hours from when he last lifted it, that was his minimum effective dose for improvement, right? The baby cow was growing each day, and so Milo wasn't trying to go out and lift a bull on day 1 or day 3 or day 365. He was just doing just enough each day to improve so that he could come back the next day and continue to get strong, right? Not enough work to crush him. All right, our SAID principle. This works in with overload as well. Okay, but the SAID principle is just a specific adaptation to imposed demand. What does that mean? Okay, it means that what you practice is what you will adapt to. If you are learning the piano, right, your fingers, as they move, your fingers will become more adept at moving across the keyboard. Okay. If you practice running slowly, you'll get good at running slowly. If you practice sprinting, your speed will improve. Okay. If you train for push-ups, though, you can't expect your squats to get better, right? Because you're specifically training that push-up movement, right? So that's if we go back, that's our specific adaptation. If we look at push-ups, right? The chest and arms will get stronger because that is that's the demand that's being imposed, right? Not on the legs, okay? So, quick example. Pick up a pen, pencil, whatever, and try writing with the opposite hand that you normally write with. Go ahead, just try to write your name three times. All right, so now most likely the writing is going to be sloppier and less precise than with the hand you normally write with. Okay, this is a great example of the said principle. Right, as you practice more and more, your penmanship improved, but it only improved with your dominant hand. Right, that one is because you are specifically imposing a demand on that writing hand. Okay, the other hand is not getting that. There's no adaptation for it because it's not being challenged. There's no demand, imposed demand on it. So the simplest thing to think about with the said principle is you want to practice and train the way you want to perform. I'll repeat that. Practice and train the way you want to perform. So if you're using poor technique, and if we look in the physical realm, if you're using poor technique on your push-ups and squats, that's what you're training your body to get better at, using poor technique. If you're playing the piano and you play sloppily instead of being very focused, right, you will train your fingers to move in that sort of sloppy way. So always practice the way you want to perform. All right, next up, we're going to have our mindfulness practice number 5. And our daily reminder, remember that meditation is exercise for your brain. Okay, the more you practice, the better you get at it.
We're always taught the more effort we put in, the more we'll get out of life. But of course this isn't always true. Take falling asleep, for example. You can prepare in the right way, put yourself in the right position, and get yourself comfortable. But after that, well, you can't force it to happen, right? In fact, it works exactly the other way around. The harder you try, the less sleepy you become. It's only when we stop trying that we finally let go and drift off. And before we know it, we're waking up the next morning, feeling refreshed, relaxed, after a good night's sleep. And it's a very similar story when we're training the mind. I think a nice metaphor for this is the idea of taming a wild horse. If you look at how a wild horse is tamed, rather than pinning it down in one place, the horse is led out on a very long rope and put in a big open spacious field. The horse runs around feeling like it's got all the space in the world. But very slowly, the rope's pulled in, and the horse adjusts to this feeling until it comes to a natural place of rest. And we're looking to do just the same thing with the mind in meditation. Not trying to pin it down in one place, but bringing it to a natural place of rest. So let go of any idea of needing to achieve something or get somewhere, and instead enjoy the opportunity to sit back, relax, and be present in the world. So welcome back to Basics and to session 5. Now you might have already noticed that this kind of exercise is quite different from most things in our life. For most things, the harder we try, the more effort we put in, the more we sort of get out of the exercise. But meditation in this way is maybe a little bit more like sleep. So when we go to sleep, if we try very hard to go to sleep, we probably move further away from sleep. In the same way, when we sit to meditate, if we try really hard, then that tends to just sort of get in the way of the process. So it takes a little bit of time to find that balance. Some days we'll show up and we'll need to maybe apply a little more focus, a little more attention. Other days we'll need to sort of ease off a little bit. So it's just about finding this balance over time. Before you know it, there it is. So begin in this way today. Just noticing how the body feels, how the mind feels, and knowing that sometimes, often, Less is more. Right now, though, just make sure that you're sitting comfortably. We're going to start in the usual way. So with the eyes open, nice soft focus, and just taking some big deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. So remember breathing in, feeling the lungs expand as they fill with air, and as you breathe out, just feeling the muscles in the body soften. And with the next out breath, just gently closing the eyes and just feeling the weight of the body press down. Feeling that contact of the body against the seat or the floor. Feeling the sensation of the feet on the floor and the weight of the hands just resting on the legs. And just take a moment to settle into the space. Noticing any sounds, noticing any resistance to any sound. Just getting comfortable in that space. And then just bringing the attention back to the body again. Always just checking in with the body, notice how it feels. Heaviness, lightness, stillness, restlessness. And then just scanning down from head to toe. Just building up a picture of how the body feels. Really tempting to get stuck on certain sensations, especially discomfort. But just a gentle, even scan, not getting stuck in any one place, just moving down towards the toes. And then just beginning in your own time. Pay a little more attention to the breath, that rising and falling sensation. There's always nothing to do. Body knows how to breathe. In noticing what area of the body moves as it breathes, and whether each breath is long or short, deep or shallow. And when you feel comfortable with that, when you've settled into that rhythm, just beginning to count the breaths as they pass. As always, just up to 10 each time, and then starting again at 1. Remember, allow thoughts to come and go. Only thing you need to remember is to notice when it's wandered, and then gently coming back to the breath again. So remembering to stop when you get to 10, each time just starting again at 1. And then letting go of that focus. And just allowing the mind to do whatever it wants to do. So, the mind wants to think, you let it think. The mind wants to focus, to be still, let it be still. Just let the mind do whatever it wants to do for the next few seconds. And then just gently bringing the attention back to the body again. It's coming back to that feeling of weight and contact. Body, feet, hands. Starting to notice the space around you, any sounds, perhaps any strong smells. So just bringing the mind back into the physical senses. And then when you're ready, in your own time, you can just gently open the eyes, sit back in your chair, and have a stretch if you'd like to. And well done on completing the first 5 sessions, so the first half of the basics. And just taking a moment, as always, notice how you feel right now, whether you feel a greater sense of balance in the body and mind, having taken that time out for yourself. And also just reflecting on that idea of effort, of some days needing a little more, some days a little less. When we're applying too much effort, we tend to feel a bit uncomfortable, perhaps agitated in some way. When we apply too little, then we tend to sort of drift towards sleep. So it's just about finding that sweet spot, and that just takes time. That's just familiarization. It's just about sort of developing and refining the skill. Either way, there's nothing to overthink at this stage, simply enjoying taking that time out to get a little more headspace in your day. And I look forward to seeing you back here for your next session, session 6.
All right, for the conditioning piece today, you're going to create your workout today. The parameters that you have, it's going to be 20 minutes long. It is going to be an as many reps as possible workout. So you'll cycle through. You're going to choose 3 exercises. Again, your choice. But one of them needs to be weighted. Okay. Create a rep scheme that you can repeat for that 20 minutes. Now I put some examples down here. We've got 3, 6, 9, 5, 10, 15, 10, 10, 10, 8, 8, 8. It can be whatever comes to mind and works for you. I wouldn't go with 1, 1, 1 or 2, 2, 2, right? But choose ones that you're going to be able to keep moving for the full 20 minutes. We really don't want to be resting during this. Now, let's say you choose a deadlift. That's your weighted exercise. You're going to do some push-ups and you're going to do some jumping squats. Fantastic. In this case, you might want to use this: 5 deadlifts, 10 push-ups, and 15 jumping squats. Right? If you choose a weighted exercise that's relatively simple for you, or just the weight that you have, you might want to go with something where it's even. Each set of per exercise has the same number of repetitions. Again, it's going to be up to you. You will do this workout and you're going to put in the assessment, obviously what exercises you chose, what the rep scheme is, and you'll also describe how the workout went. Okay, so keep that in mind. Other thing to keep in mind, keep your current fitness level, right? If you haven't been doing very much, right, you probably don't want to jump in with really high numbers, right, with 10s across the board or 15s, right? You probably want to keep it smaller. It might be 5, 5, 5. Again, it's going to be up to you. You will find out how well you know yourself as you complete the workout. All right, we do have a challenge that will start tomorrow, May 1st. Okay, that's Friday. So when you get up in the morning, you're going to do 1 push-up and 2 squats on May 1st. Use good technique, make them count. Okay. Each day, you're going to add an additional push-up and 2 additional squats, so that at the end of the month, on May 31st, you will do 31 push-ups and 62 squats. So you don't need to do them all straight through. So you can break those up as needed. So right now, if you can only do 5 push-ups, that's great. When we get to May 5th, you do 5. May 6th, maybe you do 3 and 3. Okay, that's perfectly fine. You can break them up as you need to. Over the month, you'll have completed just under 500 push-ups and just under 1,000 squats. So again, that starts on Friday. It's easy. Everyone will be able to do 1 push-up and 2 squats, and you're just going to increase from there. If you have questions, go ahead, put them email or on Schoology. Or you can come to the office hours. So again, check Schoology for the link for the assessment. And if you want to see the replay, go to the YouTube channel, and it's also on Schoology. All right, have a wonderful day.